What up, everybody? It's your boy Asian, and we're here back again. We're here to talk about my Michigan Wolverines. Yes, it was a rough night, man. Fortunately, Michigan goes down 31-13 at the LA Coliseum in front of a sold-out crowd. Over 75,000 people were there. It was rocking. This is the battle of two historic programs in college football, and USC gets the revenge on us after he pulling away in a shocking fashion last year, and they won, and they did what I was worried about. A high prolific offense with Lincoln Riley and company, and he's getting back to running the football as well, like he did when he was at Oklahoma. When people assumed he was a super great passer with the quarterbacks that they did, but he was able to establish the run game again and destroy this Michigan team. The biggest thing that from this game and a couple of takeaways. We're going to get to all the bad. I'll have some good stuff, but we got to get straight to the nitty-gritty. Yes, we get dominated 31-13. Once again, like I said, and the biggest thing was the balance of USC 35 runs to 32 passes kept Michigan off balance all game. Jaden Mayava, USC's quarterback, 25 for 32. Yes, 25 for 32, and he continued to get the ball out quick. Tight end screens, being able to recognize what defense Michigan was in. Even if it was a zone, they spaced it out. He got the ball out quick. Even if it was man-to-man, he did a nice tight end screen late on that second drive where Jair had forced a fumble on Lake McCree, chasing him down and punching the ball out. But just that balance. And the most disappointing thing in this entire game, USC did what Michigan usually does. They out-physicaled Michigan. Like I said, the balance 35 runs, 32 passes. Just the fact that we knew coming this game, Wayman Jordan, who's been a revelation, a JUCO transfer for USC, has been phenomenal season to start running back. Eli Sanders has been banged up as well. But Wayman Jordan gets hurt in the second quarter. Ankle does not return, but Hulon comes in a guy did not expect, did not have a scout report on him coming into this game. But running back King Miller, a true freshman walk-on at that. 18 carries for 158 yards and 1 touchdown. The biggest game-changing play that he made of this game was Michigan got USC in the third long after USC gets the ball back for the first possession of the second half. Mekhi Lemon has a unsportsmanlike penalty on TJ Metcalf where he kind of grabs his leg and flips it over, and they're standing right in front of the ref. The ref calls it. It's third down 20. So Michigan's trying to be cool, trying to be cute, plays, trying to keep everything in front of him. And USC runs a counter where they pull the guard. This is a famous Lincoln Riley play that he loves to run. Runs it to the left. Brandon Hillman once again misses another tackle. He missed a tackle earlier in the quarter on a fourth drive. Wayman Jordan was able to get free. Brandon Hillman's a great player. He's a ferocious hitter, but he misses a lot of tackles, and we struggled tackling guys in space today. Yes, you cannot do that. You have to be better at that. And so King Miller breaks off a 49-yard run, and gets down, and USC eventually scores. He scores on the next play on a 15-yard run on the left side. Again, runs pretty much the same exact play. So we get destroyed in the running game with a third-string running back. And then also they had a fourth-string running back, Brian Jackson, who scores later in the game when Michigan was being ultra aggressive with the trying to get some stops, and they could not do anything. Like I said, we gave up 225 yards, 6.2 yards a carry, and 2 rushing touchdowns. This is something that cannot happen. It's very disappointing in this team that we got punched in the mouth and out physical, and that's one thing from a Michigan team that you don't expect. And I know there is a lot of heat and a lot of pressure on Sharon Moore, but his defense has to be better. We got to clean some things up. And USC, like I said, I talked about earlier, they did the things that they need to do, and they were the better team tonight on the field. Last night on the field, and they showed it. They're a contender in the Big Ten, so they got some tough games coming up ahead for them as well. But I thought Michigan had a shot to win this game, but I was nervous, and all the things that I thought could happen and for Michigan to lose was the crucial thing. And although the defense did do that, they did do some good things. They had, like I said, they had a Jair forced fumble. He knocked the ball out of Lake McCree's hands, chasing him down. Big hit, knocks the ball out. Ernest Hausman recovers it. Then they had an interception in that late in the game. Zeke Berry picks it. I don't know what Jaden Mayava was doing, running to the sideline, trying to force it. Zeke Berry picks it off. But the unfortunate thing about this was the offense could not capitalize it on that Zeke Berry drive on the interception. Michigan gets all the way down there. The biggest play of this game, I think, when Michigan was trying to gain some momentum, it was a play action, max protection. Bryce throws it to Andrew Morris. Nicholson's covering him, a 6'3", long, lanky corner. And knocks the ball at the last second. They would have had the ball at the 1.5, 2 yard line for Michigan, and they would have changed momentum of the game. And then the next play, Bryce throws a pick, trying to force the ball to McCulley. When Samaj was wide open in the flats, he just kind of predetermined that, and that kind of shaked it, just trying to do some things. And we'll talk about this. We'll talk about the offense. The biggest thing, I think, really what happened, Wayman Jordan gets hurt, and then Justice Haynes gets some after plays, hold his midsection, and he goes out the game, and then does not return. Sharon said he probably would come back. He came back onto the sideline. He was walking back with his gloves with one of the trainers, probably a athletic guy. And he's just sitting there the whole game and never returned. You can see him still working on his midsection. Could be his ribs, could be those obliques. We haven't heard anything. You know, one thing that frustrates me about college football is the fact that they do not give good updates on injuries. It's kind of BS in my opinion. We need to do a little better at that and make teams acknowledge and tell you what the actual injury is. But hey, that's a different story for a different day. Yes. So he doesn't return, and that is a huge, huge loss. He had 51 yards. Jordan Marshall comes in. I love Jordan Marshall. Like I talked about last week, I didn't think Justice Haynes would be as good as impactful as he has, but he's been pretty much most of our offense leading up to this way. As you see, the passing game is still coming along. But with him leaving, that was a huge blow. And then right before the half, Michigan goes down there, scores, get a touchdown by Bryce. We should have had a field goal. Two before the half. Bryce took a terrible sack where USC blitzes the guy late, comes off the edge of Bryce's left side, and Bryce does not see him. So that cost us 3 points right there. Also, the ref said commentator on the broadcast on NBC said that USC had a OPI on Jacoby Leonard. They missed that. It led to their first touchdown, so that was a thing. And then Michigan goes on and scores, like a little under 2 minutes left. USC gets the ball back. Jaden Maya was scrambling to his right, throws the ball down to the right-hand side, and Mekhi Lemon makes a huge grab, and I mean that was huge. And then SC eventually scores as they throw him a fade route on Jaden Sanders. He actually covered it well. The true freshman's been playing well this year, especially coming in as a late enrollee in the summertime, not early. Mekhi Lemon makes a huge catch. He's 9 for 93 and touchdown. He's one of the best receivers in the country. So, you know, what can you do? So it's crazy. But we'll talk about that. So we come out the half, and then, like I said, after he getting hurt, Michigan was just kind of bamboozled on the offense. Starting that second half, you can see they had to let Bryce throw. And Bryce, like I said, he made an interception late in that game, but he made some great throws as well. He was 15 for 24 for 207, 2 touchdowns and a pick. I talked about the pick before. Bryce has been showing the ability. Sometimes he leaves the pocket when he doesn't have to, and that's what's crazy. He makes some of these difficult off-platform throws look very, very easy. It seems like that's more of his comfort zone right now than it is just to drop back in the pocket and throw the ball. But he kind of had to do a little more of that in this game just because of USC's pass rush, which is pretty good. And this offensive line did not have a great game. No, it was not great. And this is the disappointing part about the Sharon Moore thing that I've talked about, where he's getting a lot of heat because his offensive line should be much better. He's an offensive line guy. I know we had some injuries, but we got Giovanni back. He got beat a couple of times. Braden Shelby was kind of getting after it a little bit. So was USC's interior. Eric Gentry's a 6'6" outside linebacker. He was causing some havoc. They have a tall corner. Bishop Fitzgerald, safety, had 2 picks. One was late in the game. Jay Davis came in for Bryce was throwing it. But we need to see more creativity from this offense. Like we talk about run, can't pass. And USC was just manning up, blitzing. They did not care because they knew Michigan struggles to have that explosive, dynamic play, and everything is a grind out. But I think Chip Lindsey needs to kind of start using Bryce like he did when he was coaching at North Carolina and getting on the run. Do some orbit motion, something. Be a little more creative. And it would help Bryce out. You can see there's flashes. There's great throws from Bryce. There's a lot of things he's still got to work on. He's a true freshman quarterback on the road from a team who's been sitting on this loss since last year and wanted to get after Michigan. And they're very young offensively, if you look at it, the two biggest stars on this offense are freshmen in Bryce and Andrew Marsh. And we know Justice Haynes, when he's healthy, is good. Jordan Marshall is solid, but he just doesn't give you that dynamic, explosive ability. But the touchdown pass that Bryce threw to McCulley was good. We got to continue to get him more jump balls. But USC was putting some tall corners on him in the secondary, solid. He only had 3 catches, 39 and a touchdown. But then that touchdown Bryce threw to get Michigan back in the game, where it was cover 2. Andrew Marsh sat right there with the deep safeties, and the corners hit the flats on the cover 2. Andrew Marsh catches it, makes a defender missing 69 yards to the house. And this guy is turning into a star right before our eyes. Yes, he is turning into a star. He had 8 catches, 138 yards, and a touchdown. This is Bryce's go-to guy right now. And we also need to do a better job of getting Marlon Klein. He had 1 catch in this game for 5 yards, and he got blasted on the pass. Bryce kind of ran out the pocket, and it's kind of an awkward throw for him to make that throw. So we need to get them in the game. And obviously, this is the 2 receivers we're going after. We need some more dynamic ability, and that's obviously we can't do anything about that until the offseason, until portal comes. And then we got a guy named Travis Johnson, a high 4-star receiver, coming in, and then we got Zion Robinson, a receiver out of they say Texas is pretty good himself, but I do believe Michigan will be shopping in the portal. Larry Ellison, Dave Portnoy, get this NIL together, and we're gonna go spend big and get Bryce some superstar receivers, and have this offense dynamic as well, getting 5-star running back Savion Hyder in the mix as well. So I think this offense will get better in the offseason, and it's still a lot. And we're paying Bryce, and he's doing what he can. He was trying to force some things. He was running. He was getting hit. He got up. He was even shaking up when he got rolled up on. Like I said, USC's defense was super aggressive, and they could be, especially putting their ears back, and they know we're up. And now Michigan has to drop back, and they're not designed yet to be able to do that, especially when you don't have any dynamic guys. You have Marshall's shown it, but that's one guy, so they can cover one guy, and we just kind of got to use these tight ends more. I like kind of using 2 tight ends set with Hogan Hansen and Marlon Klein on the field as well. So you got to do what you got to do. Samaj was okay this game. Special teams continues to be a problem as well. Hollenbeck had a 28-yard punt late in that first half that frustrated me. Give USC the ball at midfield, and USC kind of just, like I said, was in control this whole game, dominated, and there's nothing we can do. And like I said, Sharon Moore is getting a lot of heat, but Michigan falls to 4-2, 2-1 in the Big Ten, and there's still a lot on the line to play for this season. Like I said, the remaining schedule is not hard. Like I talked about before the season started, I said we were going to go 9-3, and it's still possible. And this is the year before the year, but I believe this team is good enough, to at least get into the college football playoffs. I don't think they win anything, but this will be a huge boost and a huge morale for recruiting, not only for the program, and see that it's going up. And we are not an elite team this year, far by none. We have too many young guys and too many things we need to work on, especially with this offensive line. Needing more playmakers with the wide receiver and more depth. As well, and the defense is going to have their spots. So I can bash them, and they didn't play great, but they were opportunistic tonight. They've had an interception in every game, but with that said, USC's in a good spot in the conference right now to be continuing to try to contend for the college football playoff. They have a big game at Notre Dame next week. So, but with that said, Michigan has to turn the page, unfortunately, and learn from these things and get better. And that's the beautiful thing about college football. You can continue to get better. You can see some of the young guys getting better, like Bryce. He's got to make the mistakes, and I'd rather see him thrown into the fire because we don't really have an option, and to get better and to learn from these young mistakes. He's a true freshman. You see the flashes, and you see the flashes from offense. Everybody has to continue to get better and better. But now they go back home and much needed spot, a big noon kickoff next week. They host Washington, who won Friday night. They destroy Rutgers, not a good team. Damon Williams, the quarterback, is super dynamic. Boston, the wide receiver, is dynamic. Jonah Coleman. Those are the 3-headed monster for Washington. Michigan has to slow those guys down in order to win this game. Washington's coming in at 5-1. I believe they will be ranked when the AP Top 25 comes out today. I think Michigan still will be ranked. It will probably be 22, 24, or 25. I still think they should be ranked because that's a tough place to play. USC is going to be ranked, so this loss, if USC keeps getting better, it's going to look better for Michigan. I know Oklahoma lost yesterday. John Mateer was coming back from that hand injury, and Texas kind of dominated, and it was a much-needed win, and there's still a lot for Oklahoma to play for. So even these 2 losses that Michigan have could potentially be huge wins for their resume, and you have to win this game next week against Washington at home. This is a must win for Michigan. A lot of the line, a lot to still play for. There's still a lot left in the season, and they can get past Washington. The schedule is super manageable. You can get to Ohio State with 2 losses, and maybe they'll be a lot better going into that game because Ohio State is the best team in the country, hands down by none, and it hurts my heart to even say that, but it's just simple facts, man. What can I say? You host 5-1 Washington, then you're at Michigan State, who's 3-3. They're on a super decline. They were at home yesterday and got steamrolled by a UCLA team who's caught momentum since they beat Penn State, and Penn State lost again yesterday. Drew Aller's out for the season, so that win doesn't look as good. But then you host Purdue, who's bad. I will be at the Purdue game. Then you go back-to-back road games at Northwestern, who's 4-2, solid. They're playing hard for David Braun. And at Maryland, who has a freshman quarterback as well, Malik Washington. Everybody needs to go watch because he's turning into a star before our eyes. But Maryland, last 2 weeks, haven't been able to close games against Washington, where they were up big, couldn't close games. And then they couldn't close the game yesterday against a Nebraska team who I don't think is that great. Michigan beat up. So they're 4-2 as well right now, and then that will get you to the game at home in Ann Arbor against Ohio State, who's playing their hair on fire right now. And that goal is still in sight. There's still a lot to play for. And like I said, Sharon and company need to play better. A tough loss last night. Got to get better for this team on offense. I believe they will come out much prepared, and there's a lot of things that need to be cleaned up. And that's the great thing about college football. It can be fixed and can work on developing and grow. So still a lot left to play for. I'm excited. Like I said, disappointing loss. I was visually pissed off and frustrated last night just watching this team, just the highs and lows you go riding with your team. But I still got faith in my boys. Just always go blue. Hey, I appreciate all the love and support. Don't forget to like, love, and subscribe to this video. Hey, it's your boy Adrian, and I'm out. Peace.